Survivor Chapter 44. Part of my job is to preview the menu for a dinner party tonight. This means taking a bus from the house where I work to another big house and asking some strange cook what they expect everybody to eat. Who I work for doesn't like surprises, so part of my job is telling my employers ahead of time if tonight they'll be asked to eat something difficult like a lobster or an artichoke. If there's anything threatening on the menu, I have to teach them how to eat it right. This is what I do for a living. The house where I clean, the man and woman who live there are never around. That's just kind of the job they have. The only details I know about them are from cleaning what they own. All I can figure out is from picking up after them. Cleaning up their little messes day after day, rewinding their videotapes. Full service anal escorts. What? The giant breasts of lethal weapons. The adventures of little Cinderella. Spelled with an S. By the time my bus drops me off here, the people who I work for are gone to work downtown. By the time they drive home, I'm back downtown at my housing voucher studio apartment that used to be used as a tiny hotel room until somebody crowded in a stove and a fridge to raise the rent. The bathroom's still out in the hall. The only way I ever talk to my employers is by speakerphone. This is just a plastic box sitting on their kitchen counter and yelling at me to get more done. Ezekiel chapter 19, verse 7. And he knew their desolate palaces. Something, something, something. You can't keep the whole Bible balanced in your head. You wouldn't have room to remember your name. Oh, ain't that the truth? We all know that. The house I've been cleaning the last 6 years is about what you'd expect. Big in this real Tony part of town. This is compared to where I live. All the studio apartments in my neighborhood are the same as a warm toilet seat. Somebody used to be there just a second before you were, and somebody will be there the minute you get up. The part of town where I go to work every morning, there are paintings on the walls. Behind the front door, there are rooms and rooms nobody ever goes into. Kitchens where nobody cooks. Bathrooms that never get dirty. The money they leave out to test me, well, will I take it? The money is never less than a $50 bill, dropped behind the dresser as if by accident. The clothes they own look designed by an architect. Next to the speakerphone is a fat daily planner book they keep full of things for me to get done. They want me to account for my next 10 years, task by task. That's a long time. Their way, everything in your life turns out to be an item on a list, something to accomplish. You get to see how your life looks flattened out. The shortest distance between 2 points in a timeline, a schedule, a map of your time, the itinerary for the rest of your life. Nothing shows you the straight line from here to death like a list. I want to be able to look at your planner, the speakerphone yells at me, and know exactly where I can find you at 4 o'clock on this day 5 years from now. And I want you to be that exact. Seeing it down in black and white, somehow you're always disappointed in your life expectancy. How little you'll really get done, the resume of your future. It's 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, so according to my daily planner, I'm about to boil 5 lobsters for them to practice eating. That's how much money they make. They got lobster money, y'all. The only way I can afford to eat veal is when I smuggle it home on the bus sitting in my lap. The secret to boiling lobster is simple. First you fill a kettle with cold water and a pinch of salt. You can use equal parts of water and vermouth or vodka. You can add some seaweed to the water for a stronger flavor. These are the basics they teach you in home economics. Most everything else I know is from the messes these people leave behind. Just ask me how to get bloodstains out of a fur coat. No, really, go ahead. Ask me. The secret is cornmeal and brushing the fur the wrong way. The tricky part is keeping your mouth shut. Ooh, that's good to know. To get blood off of piano keys, polish them with talcum powder or powdered milk. Well, we all know that. This isn't the most marketable job skill, but to get blood stains out of wallpaper, put on a paste of cornstarch and cold water. This will work just as well to get blood out of a mattress or a Davenport. The trick is to forget how fast these things can happen. Suicides, accidents, crimes of passion. Just concentrate on the stain until your memory is completely erased. Practice really does make perfect. If you could really call it that, ignore how it feels when the only real talent you have is for hiding the truth. You have a God-given knack for committing a terrible sin. It's your calling. You have a natural gift for denial, a blessing, if you could call it that. Even after 16 years of cleaning these people's houses, I want to think the world is getting better and better, but really I know it's not. You want to be some improvement in people, but there won't be, and you want to think there's something you can get done. Cleaning this house every day, all that gets done is my skills at denying what's wrong. God forbid I should ever meet who I work for in person. Please don't get the idea. I don't like my employers. The caseworkers got me lots worse postings. I don't hate them. I don't love them, but I don't hate them. I've worked for lots worse. Just ask me how to get urine stains out of drapes and a tablecloth. Ask me what's the fastest way to hide bullet holes in a living room wall. The answer is toothpaste. 4 large calipers, mix a paste of equal parts starch and salt. Call me the voice of experience. 5 lobsters is how many I figured it'll take for them to learn the tricky details of getting the back open. The carapace, I figure, inside the brain of or the heart you're supposed to be hunting for. The trick is to put the lobsters in the water and then turn the heat up. The secret is to go slow. Allow at least 30 minutes for the water to reach 100 degrees. This way the lobster is supposed to die a painless death. My daily planner tells me to keep busy, polishing the copper the best way with a half a lemon dipped in salt. These lobsters we have to practice with are just called jumbo since they're around 3 pounds apiece. Lobsters under a pound are called chickens. Lobsters missing a claw are called culls. The ones I take out of the refrigerator packing wet seaweed will need to boil about half an hour. This is more stuff you learn in home economics. One of the 2 large forward claws, the larger claw lined with what looks like molars, is called the crusher. The smaller claw lined with incisors is called the cutter. The smaller side legs are called the walking legs. On the underside of the tail are 5 rows of small fins called swimmerettes. More home economics. I don't remember that. If the front row of swimmerettes is soft and feathery, the lobster is female. If the front row is hard and rough, the lobster is male. If the lobster is a female, look for a bony heart-shaped hollow between the 2 rear walking legs. This is where the female will still be carrying live sperm if she's had sex within the past 2 years. The speakerphone rings while I'm setting the lobsters. 3 male and 2 female. No sperm in the pot on the stove. And the speakerphone rings as I turn up the heat just another notch. The speakerphone rings while I wash my hands. The speakerphone rings while I pour myself a cup of coffee and mix in cream and sugar. The speakerphone rings while I take a handful of seaweed from the lobster bag and sprinkle on the top of the lobsters in the pot. One lobster lifts the crusher claw for a stay of execution. Crusher claws and cutter claws, they're all rubber banded. The speakerphone rings while I go wash my hands and dry my hands again. The speakerphone rings and I answer it. Gaston House, I say. Gaston Residence, the speakerphone yells at me. Say it, Gaston Residence. Say it the way we told you how. What they teach you in home economics, it's correct to call a house a residence, only in printing and engraving. We've gone over this a million times. I drink a little coffee and fiddle with the heat under the lobsters. The speakerphone keeps yelling, is anyone there? Hello? Have we been cut off? This couple I work for, at one party, they were the only guests who didn't know to lift the doily with the finger bowl. Since then, they've been addicted to learning etiquette. They still say it's pointless, it's useless, but they're terrified of not knowing every little ritual. The speakerphone keeps yelling, answer me, damn it. Tell me about the party tonight. What kind of food are we going up against? We've been worried sick all day. I look in the cabinet over the stove for the lobster gear, the nutcrackers and nut picks and bibs. Thanks to my lessons, these people know all the 3 acceptable ways to place your dessert silver. It's my doing that they can drink iced tea the right way with the long spoon still in the glass. This is tricky, but you have to hold the spoon handle between your index and middle fingers against the edge of the glass opposite your mouth. Be careful to not poke your eye out. Not a lot of people know this way. You see people taking the wet spoon and looking for a place to set it and not wreck the tablecloth. Or worse, they just put it anywhere and leave a wet tea stain. When the speakerphone goes silent, then and only then do I start. I ask the speakerphone, are you listening? I tell the speakerphone, picture a dinner plate. Tonight I say, the spinach souffle will be at the 1 o'clock position, the beets will be at 4 o'clock. A meat thing with sliver almonds was going to be on the other half of the plate in the 9 o'clock position. To eat it, the guests would have to use a knife, and there are going to be bones in the meat. This is the best posting I've ever had. No kids, no cats, no wax floors. So I don't want to botch it. If I didn't care, I'd start telling who I worked for to do any monkey business I could imagine. Like you eat the sorbet by licking it out of the bowl, dogfish fashion. Or pick up the lamb chop with your teeth and shake your head vigorously, side to side. And what's terrible is they probably do this. It's because